Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
All right, welcome to What's on Tap podcast, your weekly beer review podcast show coming to you every week for many, many years
That's
now.
what weekly means.
Yes, it is. We've been really good. The first year, I think we maybe missed a couple of weeks, but ever since then, it's been one a week.
Widow cool, ruining the streak before I got a chance to.
Well, you know, it was back in the old days with the other guy, and he wasn't that reliable, so, you know. Anyway.
We don't talk about
Yeah, he
times.
can't be named. All right, but yeah, we got some fun beers. We went kind of Swedishy this episode with two Swedish breweries, Stigbergets, which we've had on the show many times, and Gothenburg Brew, which I assume is from Gothenburg, Sweden, which is the second largest city in all of Sweden. I don't know more to say about it.
It's also second best after Malmö.
It is. That's very true. That's true. As we all know, Stockholm's third, or actually, Stockholm they're like fifth.
Objection.
What?
Stockholm was like number 50.
50.
Exactly. Yeah,
Oh wow, that's.
The good part of Stockholm doesn't weigh out the bad parts.
No, it's true.
What are the bad parts? The people? Is that what you're saying?
The city overall, the good
The
parts.
city overall.
The good parts are the beer, but I think the problem is it's way too split up compared to Malmö and Gothenburg. They're like local traffic. It's super easy to go from spot A to B, but in Stockholm,
It's a project.
Well, it is a series of archipelagos that you have to navigate through, so it does make travel a little more inconvenient.
So just don't build your city on an
Archipelago. Yeah, no, that would be the first thing you should take away from that is. Yeah, that's not a series of islands is not the way to build a national capital.
now we've heard. We haven't presented Pontus yet.
Oh yeah,
right?
Pontus is here too.
Yeah,
So anyway, he's not special anymore.
He is special in my heart.
Aww. But today, like I said, we got some fun things here. Because one is a new project from Stigbergets, which is a wild ale aged for 12 months. And the other is an Oyster stout, which we've never had on the show, which used to be pretty easy to find on the store shelves, but then over the last, say, I would say 4 or 5 years, it's just basically become a non-existent style almost.
which is a good thing.
Yeah, because people realize that it's complete trash.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute.
But the fun part is, this year actually came 2 oyster stouts from Gothenburg, and no one is surprised because everything is fishy there.
Yes. Oh, well, there's only one. The other one was from Finn, and
Was
that's
it?
here. Yeah.
But they're from Landskrona, and that's also on the coast.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Landskrona. We've given away Landskrona to Gothenburg.
Yeah.
We've already seceded it, so.
We take no responsibility. But which one
We'll start with the Stigbergets, which is the, would you like to pronounce it?
Cotes de Ringon.
Yes.
So it's a play on Coteron,
Yes.
the wine, but this is Ringon, which is a place.
Which is not to be confused with their Ringu series.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Two different things.
What? What series?
Ringo
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ringon Brew. Yes.
Yeah, Ringu Brau. Which, did you ever try that Ringu Brau Marzen? Which,
I think we drank that Bruce well.
maybe. It was delicious. It was so good.
All the beers were good after a few hours there.
Yeah, sure they were, but I didn't have that. I had the can that came out of Systembolaget, and it was delicious. I was quite surprised.
But all we really know about this beer is that it's somehow some levels of spontaneously fermented. It's aged on barrels.
Mm-hmm.
The bottle is waxed, and it's quite expensive. That's all we know.
Yeah.
Was it quite expensive?
It's $1.49 for a small bottle,
Yeah, that's kind of.
which makes you can get 2 bottles of Drie Fontaine for the same price.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is obviously a limited edition to 5,000. I don't know how many barrels there were. I'm just kidding.
Two bottles.
2 bottles. That's
What?
why it was so expensive. Okay, so this was brewed on in 1920. I'm sorry, 2020, and it was bottled in 2021. Okay, I was reading that wrong. I was thinking, how is it bottled in 10/28/2021? I was like, oh yeah, this is 2022. It's another year has passed almost. So
it's both a barrel aged and bottle condition,
yes,
which I can tell from the nose from a mile
yeah,
away. Because
it smells really good, and you get lots of.
I'd say, but I'd say It reminds me a lot of the the American wild ales, like the American farmhouse.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I get a lot of pear on the nose.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of pear.
And also the unripe lemon.
Yeah, I can get a little Meyer lemon in there.
Let's try it.
All right, it smells. I mean, it smells great. This is going to hopefully be really rewarding. It's very tangy, kind of tart.
Yep.
And it's very dry.
It's very, very dry, almost champagne-like.
Yeah.
In that.
Pontus, you keep talking about table beers like amalgams, hoppies and so on. This is going in that direction.
Yeah, no, but I'll say it isn't as complex as those are. And I'd say I wouldn't call it table because it's a bit too strong for
It's
that.
6% overall.
Yeah. But it's very, very easy drinkable and quenchable. So like I could for sure drink a few bottles of this on a warm summer day. But yeah, I wouldn't compare to that. I want more complex, but I think this one will grow better with age.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a little flat. I think the flavor falls off really, really quick. Like there's nothing that wants me to have another sip of it. I think it's very drinkable, but it's not something that makes me like, oh, I really want to explore more of this, because I don't think there's really much more to explore.
It's not very complex, no.
No.
The tangy lemon,
Yeah.
and then that holds on for quite a while. It doesn't disappear, but there's nothing really. You dig and dig.
Yeah.
You don't really find any more complexity, which is a shame.
And I think the carbonation's a little flat for this beer.
Yeah.
I think it should have been a little more carbonated. I think it would have made it pop a little more. Probably brought out the more of the lemon and pear flavor that's there.
Maybe it's a Lodic.
Maybe.
But
Could be.
Like a sleepy lambic.
Yeah, but probably not, because it's still some carbonation, some fizz to it.
Yeah.
But I said, I think it might gain with some with age, because I want more complex, and it might develop some funk with another year or two. But right now, it tastes a bit too young, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a bacterial culture going on inside the bottle. So maybe given a few years, it might, it's best before 2031. But I don't see that this would be, it would hold up. It would still be drinkable, but I don't think it would offer anything more.
No, I'd say like, wait, if you have more than one bottle at home, save it for at least, I'd say drink it in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah,
and see how it
maybe.
is, because I think it might gain some with that age.
Yeah.
I'm a bit disappointed. The packaging, the wax, the story.
The wax is like really solid. This is more on the lines of what's the really hard wax bottles we usually get from, not
Side project?
yeah, like side project kind of level.
Where you get a little pull tab.
Yeah, that never works.
Yeah. But I'll give this either a strong 375 or a weak 4. I'm somewhere in between.
Wow, you okay? What do you give it?
I'd say a stable 4, because like I really, really love this type of beer. But I think it's still a bit too young, and it might gain some with age. But right now, for being fresh as it is, I'd say a 4.
I am going to go the opposite direction and give it a 3.25. I just don't think this beer offers really anything. I think we've had better wild ales from better breweries, and that means that if this was a 4 or 3.75, then I would have to go back and give those a 4.25 or a 4.75.
You probably should.
Because I mean, this again, it's not a bad beer. It's perfectly drinkable, but it just doesn't give me anything like a lot of wild ales do.
No.
So therefore, it just is, for me, it's kind of forgettable, which is really sad. Makes me unhappy.
But it's good with cheese.
Well, of course, it's good with cheese. Okay, so next up we have Gothenburg Brew Chuck the Oyster, which is an oyster stout coming in at 9% ABV. Who lives in the dark under the sea? Chuck the Oyster, malty and lush and full-bodied is he. Chuck the Oyster. Enjoy.
Copyright infringement. Ding, ding, ding.
Well, it doesn't rhyme.
Show is cancelled.
So I don't know that it is even close to that. But
Sponge-stroked oyster pants.
yeah,
Sponge-stroked
yeah,
oyster
they got that far. It'd be maybe another sign altogether. So what do you guys think about oyster stouts?
I think they fail. They fail with being How strong is this? Like 7?
9%.
9, yeah.
Yeah.
So this one fails at being an imperial stout,
Yes.
but it also fails at being a dry stout. Speaking of which, I recently at Bishop's Arms, Gustav Oyster had an amazing dry stout.
Yeah.
That surprised me. So dry stouts definitely have a place. Like this 4.2% drinkable, malty, yum yum yum.
Yeah.
This is not what we're going to get in this glass. And we're not going to get a delicious, creamy imperial stout. We're going to get something that fails at both. That's my hot take on all oyster stouts.
Well, oyster stouts are named because they used to contain oyster juice,
Yep.
the juice from oysters in them. And then the brininess complemented the dark roasted malt of the stout. But later times, they've either used artificial flavoring or they just use the whole oyster, which is kind of, I think, a waste of oysters. Yeah. I haven't had an oyster stout, and I can't even remember the last time. I think when I check this in on Untapped, I doubt I've had 5 because there's so few of them.
When you look at it, it's quite see-through. It's like brown.
Yeah, and it smells just kind of a generic stout smell. There's not really much to it. Even a little tannic.
Yeah, little sweet chocolates.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's do this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's see if I'm right. Yeah. Quite salty.
That could be the salty deli meat you've been eating.
I'll say thin.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
It's not an imperial stout.
It's not an imperial stout, and it's not a pastry stout.
No, but
it is just for me, oyster stouts are almost like a gimmick, whereas I don't think the oyster adds anything, like any brininess or any kind of level of complexity to the stout itself.
Okay, so I rinsed my mouth after that deli meat earlier. It's not that. There is some kind of salty licorice.
It's the brininess from the sea.
Yeah.
Sure.
They brewed with Gothenburg seawater.
Oh yeah.
But you're right, there is a bit of a saltiness to it as well. I don't hate this.
No, I don't either.
I think the base beer itself is not bad. I think the roasting of the malts is actually pretty good. But it just doesn't give me anything.
No.
I don't this is like the roasting on it isn't hard enough to really go like, I can really get the roasted malt flavor. It's like, yeah, it's there. The carbonation is kind of meh.
Yeah. What I feel is a shame is that at 9%, it could fit a role. I mean, there is a role for 9% imperial stouts. Mm-hmm. They're on the weaker side, but they could still be really flavorful and rich. But it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't even try to fill that role because it's an oyster stout. It doesn't need to. It feels like it's already doing what it should.
So I think what we should have is oysters with this next time. And then we can see if the two work together. That could be our next food pairing. It's oyster stouts and oysters. See how that goes.
Smart.
I don't really have much more to say about this. I just saw it on the shelf and thought, well, that would be fun. We haven't had an oyster stout on the show before, and I can't even remember the last time I saw an oyster stout as a Systembolaget. It's been so long.
I think the last one was when they had 3 or 4 years ago from the New Zealand brewery, Garage Brew.
Yeah.
I think that was the last one I saw there.
That feels right. I mean, I like when I think back, it's been at least 3 to 4 years, maybe 5.
But I have a weird confession about this beer. So this is the second time I've tried it now.
Yes.
And I don't consider Gothenburg Brew to be that good of a brewer. Mm-hmm. So when I had it last time, I was overwhelmed with positive surprise.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking it was going to be terrible.
Yeah.
I was thinking the oyster stout was going to be terrible. So my expectations then were rock bottom, and it's
so what did you give it the last time you tried it?
375. I increased it to 375, going, wow, this is way better than expected.
Yes.
Now my expectations are more sensible.
Yeah.
And it's maximum 3.5 for me.
Yeah, I think it's right there with you. I think this is a 3.25 beer. Again, it's drinkable. It's not bad. Definitely not a drain pour. But when I look back on the beers I've had this year, it won't even register with me. Other than I had an oyster stout.
It's a beer. I'm not a big fan of it, but I want more mouthfeel to it. I want something else to give it a punch to it. So yeah,
I think just a harder roast would give you that little extra something because that's what's missing. It's missing the flavor that you want.
Yeah, but I'll say I'm up there with you, like 3 to 3.25 or something.
Yeah. All right. So that's not bad. Okay. Thanks, guys, for humoring me and the oyster stout. You can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and just podcast. Just type in the word podcast, you'll find us into any of your internet browsers. Bing, Yandex especially. Real big on Yandex. We really optimize the shit out of that site for indexing.
Follow these guys on VK as well.
Yeah, VK, super important there. And then, of course, every week Pontus has a new release on Pornhub, so be sure to check that out. He highlights things. Mostly it's weird features on his body that, I don't know.
Look at this weird thing.
Yeah. What does this do? You think this is skin cancer? I don't think so either.
Can it drink beer?
Yeah. So until next time.
Keep drinking it, dumb dumb.